All right, well, I can repeat myself if we've got some more people joining us, but we are here in the cow yard with Indigo and Malcolm. We can talk a little bit about Malcolm. He's like, what? We can talk a little bit, but I feel like I've talked about San Clemente Island goats a couple times, or several times before, but he is our breeder, so he's a buck San Clemente Island goat. He hangs out in here with Indigo, especially for when the yard is closed to, or open to guests. He doesn't like the whole petting business very much. And he's good friends with Indigo now, so he gets sad when they're separated. She gets sad too, because when I do take him on walks or take him out of the yard, she moos until I bring him back. But we are here to talk about Indigo today, because I don't think we've talked about Indigo on a keeper chat before. So Indigo is a Randall Lineback cattle. So just like our San Clemente Island goats, she is a heritage breed. So that means she's an endangered domestic. And the history with this breed is that they were super popular going all the way back to the 17th century. They were created during those colonization times during the 1700s from a combination of Dutch, English, and French cattle that colonizers brought over to the Americas with them. They are historically known as a multi-purpose cattle, or kind of a triple threat cattle, and that is because they are used for beef, dairy, and oxen. So they were super popular in the early 1700s with farmers because you could use them, you could get milk from them, you could get beef from them, but they could also be used as oxen to help manage farmers' fields and things. However, the cattle industry started becoming industrialized. These guys were crossbred with like Holsteins, and Holsteins is the typical like black and white cattle that we think of today as dairy cattle. And so they were much more efficient for the dairy industry. And so these guys started to die out and become extinct. Luckily, there was a family, the Randall family, actually, from Vermont that had a closed herd for several decades, for just over 80 years, that they did not crossbreed their linebacks with any other breed. And so his herd remained pure, and that became all the remaining Randall linebacks today can be traced back to the Randall family farm in Vermont now. So today there are believed to be right around 500 of these cattle left across the country. They are considered America's oldest and most rare cattle breed. So we have tried to breed her here. We don't have but it was unsuccessful. So we tried that a couple times. We're looking into some other options now. So she is still considered a heifer because she's never had a baby. She is 6.5 years old. Her Indigo's birthday is November 3rd. So she's almost 7. She comes in at right around 860 pounds. So she is smaller for the breed, but being a female, that's average for her. Bulls, I read, can be about twice as big. She's sniffing the phone. Shout out if you guys have any questions about Indigo.
Yeah, we know that the broadcast keeps cutting in and out, so
yeah, I don't
we
know.
apologize.
Hold on, let me see. Is my phone trying to attach to the Wi-Fi in the hospital?
Yeah.
See if that helps.
All right, we'll try this.
But yes, so you can see that they are named for that. They call it like a blue-black. When the sun is shining on her, she does look kind of blue purpley iridescent. So she does have that kind of blue-black color along her sides with that very distinct line right down her back. So that's how they got that Lineback name. And then when the Randall family saved the species from extinction, they tacked on that Randall in the beginning, because there is another, like there's an American Lineback, and that kind of mushes a couple different Lineback breeds into it. But this one is distinct. I tried to get her, it's cool enough, she might try one of Indigo's favorite things. If you guys are ever here in the summer, Indigo's favorite form of enrichment is a jolly ball. I'm gonna see if I can get her to play.
There's one right there.
So this is, oh, I left the hay bucket. Now she's seeing if there's any more snacks in there for her. Come here, Indigo. So you can see this is one of our big jolly balls. This used to be, she and the tiger used to share this. However, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Where is it? The tiger, no, I got goat poop stuck on it. I can't, oh, there it is. The tiger can't get it anymore because you see how big that hole is? That's from the tiger's canine. So, we had to retire this ball from the tiger, and we are gonna start, I think maybe we'll do a fundraiser. I think we were planning a fundraiser to get him a new jolly ball like this, because this is the tiger's favorite enrichment too. But this is unsafe. We don't want him to get his teeth stuck in here. So this is Indigo's ball now. She sometimes chases it. I don't know if it's gonna be too hot for her. She's like, no, I'm on camera. I'm just gonna watch it go by today. Go get it, Indigo. On cooler days, I can kick it. I'll play soccer. I'll be out here playing soccer with her, and she'll moo and hop and skip and jump and chase it.
It's ironic that she likes to kick the ball, because you would think she'd be more like a linebacker.
You want her to be a linebacker?
Like in American football, yeah.
Right. Indigo, ready? Too busy chasing flies. Oh, there she goes.
No.
She's like, no. I think she's also waiting for Malcolm. Despite the size difference between these two animals, oh, she's gonna go in the sprinkler. Despite the size difference between the two, like I said, she's about 860 pounds. He is about 120 pounds. He is in charge in this yard. So he pushes her around. That's why you may have noticed she kind of walks away. He's in charge of the hay in this yard. That's why I've got several different spots of hay, so that he can't displace her and she gets a chance to eat. You need more fly spray, Mama? You need more fly spray?
Yeah, she'll come to the mister because it helps keep the flies away.
Right, yeah. She doesn't like the fly spray, so I can only put fly spray on her when I feed her her grain. While she's eating her grain, she'll... Is that the spot? Is that the spot, Mama?
What's the temperature today? About 80? 75, 80? Something like that?
I think it's
80, so.
He's acting nice.
Even cows like a good butt scratch.
Even cows like to go butt scratch. Most cows... I'll also add, she is also one of my, I will say, proudest training moments, scenarios here at the zoo. So when I started at the zoo here about 4 years ago, I was told of the plans to artificially inseminate her. However, when I started, she had only been here for a little bit of time, and she was kind of scared of us. Most Randall Linebacks are pasture born and raised. That means that they're out in a big field with their mom, and they don't have a whole lot of socialization. So that is kind of problematic for our setup here. And so whenever I came in here, she was kind of nervous around keepers. And I said, well, that's not gonna fly if I've gotta have my hands on her, and we're gonna need vets and be able to inject her to get her hormones in so that her body is ready to have a baby. So I worked a lot with her. I socialized her a lot to try to get her just more comfortable with keepers. 4 years ago, she never would have let me scratch her butt like that. I try to, another how to win cattle as well is to scratch them between the horns and the ears. She doesn't let me do that with my hands. She's pretty head shy, but she'll let me do it with a rake, so it's improvement. It's an improvement. I'll take it. Yeah.
Gail missed it. She said, is she in calf yet?
No, she is not. So that is our goal, is to artificially inseminate her, but we have tried it 3 times now without success. So our vets are brainstorming on how to help this species.
It's hard to get a male. They're expensive, and it's expensive to transport them. So, and they're hard to find.
Yes.
So,
Fine, because like I said, this is the most rare cattle breed in America. Oh, sorry, did I stop? And so they're not necessarily just, there's not a lot of farms that are selling.
is that good? Too close.
Oh, I guess I'll also say, I hear a lot that I hear a lot from guests that people think she is a boy because she's got the horns on her head. A lot of cattle species, both boys and girls have those horns. Obviously with the bulls, the horns would be a little bit bigger than what she's got here. However, both boys and girls have horns, and that kind of helps protect, for her, that would help protect her baby if she had a baby. I will also say the biggest difference between horns and antlers is that horns always stay on their head. We don't have...
The antlers move?
There's an elk shed in the middle there still, yeah.
We can go over and take a look at that.
But if you were a long-time visitor, you may remember that we used to have reindeer in this yard as well. So that was the biggest difference between those guys, is that the antlers are shed every year, once a year, and they grow back every year. Well, horns, like what she and the goats have, are bone and keratin, so that they stay on the head. They're attached to the skull. They're actually attached to the skull, and so they stay on the animal's head unless they are surgically removed.
If you guys have questions about cows, or the zoo, or anything,
Or the zoo, yeah.
throw them out there. We'll be happy to answer.
But no, she's not a calf. She's just a wide girl. She's got a hay belly.
Yeah, she's a little chunky.
Hay belly.
So, let's talk about what cows eat. I think people know they eat hay, but like what else, and how do we feed them hay and stuff like that?
Yeah, so these guys are grazers, so we do feed them hay a couple times throughout the day. I've got 3 different spots that I feed them hay. We do just feed them grass, normal grass hay. Here, she also gets, their favorite browse is mulberry. They'll eat mulberry.
Here's the
What else?
hay.
Oh, yeah, we can show them the hay.
So, we don't have any straw handy, but
No.
hay is always kind of this greenish color. And it's usually, not always, but usually kind of thinner.
Yeah.
And straw is that yellow stuff that you see, especially the stuff they sell at the store.
Yeah, so
In the fall?
we'll probably start seeing straw being sold in stores here as Halloween and fall decorations here shortly. And that the biggest difference between hay and straw is that straw is used for bedding. Nobody eats straw. Hay is what they eat.
Right.
So it's a different type of grass.
You can always tell a city slicker because they'll pick up a handful of straw.
And try to feed it to the animals.
Try to feed it to the animals.
And
yeah.
the animals are like, "What? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want that."
So it's like trying to feed you a bed sheet.
Right.
Danae, I think it's Danae, said, do they get their feet trimmed like horses?
It's not. Yes, her toes are a little long. She could stand a trim, but it's a little bit different than horses. Horses, they need a trim like every month to put new shoes on. She's like, I don't want you to look at my feet. I need a manicure. So yeah, a professional can come in and file those down for us. But it's a little bit different than a horse.
Yeah. And if she had a rockier terrain, they would wear down more on their own.
Yes, this yard used to be a lot more rockier, and she would wear them down a lot more. But we need to get some more dirt in here, or some more rocks in here to help wear those down naturally.
More like dirt and mud.
Yeah.
Mud in the spring.
It's mud in the spring, yeah. All right, well, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop those in the comments, and I will look later and answer those questions for you. On Wednesday, we will be out in the pollinator garden by the Katofer building, and we will be talking about our Monarch Caterpillars that we have cooking. Growing. We're not eating them. Growing, and hopefully we'll have some different stages to show you by Wednesday. But yeah, am I supposed to say anything else? What else is going on? I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. Any of these you missed, remember they're on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MillerParkZoo.
Yeah.
And come on out and see us.
I'll try to get a video of her chasing her ball once it cools
Yeah.
off. Maybe I'll do that first thing tomorrow morning before it gets hot, so you guys can see that, because it's really fun. She gets going and mooing, and it's a good old time. All right, Indigo, say goodbye.
Oh, she did.
She did. She's leaving.
Goodbye. The end.
Bye, guys. Thanks for visiting.